Chapter 1390. Crazy Wife, 5th Misgodly Doctor cough cough. Sima Yue choked from his words. She rolled her eyes at him and said, "Master, what nonsense are you spouting? Could it be that I guessed wrong? No way, my intuition is pretty accurate." Old Man Devil giggled and said, "Little girl, are you too shy to say it? What's there to be embarrassed about in front of Master? When are you going to give birth to a chubby boy for me to play with? You're old and disrespectful." Sima Yue glared at him. "There's nothing between me and Senior, we just started dating. I haven't even found my mother, how can we get married? You're together, that's not bad, a chubby boy is just a matter of time. Ha ha ha." Sima Yue looked at him speechlessly. "Master, aren't you going to ask about Senior's situation first? Aren't you worried about him? With you here, what does Master have to worry about?" Old Man Devil was in a good mood. "Since you're together, you definitely won't let anything happen to him." Just now he was so worried, but now he immediately became a hands-off shopkeeper, he was so relaxed. However, he didn't really ignore it, he sat down beside the chair and said, "Tell me everything that happened before their fusion and what happened after. I thought you really didn't care anymore." Sima Yue came to his side and sat down, telling him what happened before. Old Man Devil sighed after hearing it. "I didn't expect the Devil King to be such a loyal person. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want Sima Yue to get hurt, he wouldn't have had to break the contract himself, and naturally, there wouldn't have been anything after that. However, as a man he could understand Mo Sha's actions. No matter what happened to him, he couldn't let the woman he loved get hurt because of him. However, he's regained his identity as the Devil King, so he'll definitely have a lot of connections with the Devil Clan in the future. And from what you said, he still has a lot of grudges in the past, so these are unavoidable. If you're together with him, you'll be dragged into this. Have you thought it through?" "I've thought about it." Sima Yue said, "Although I don't like trouble, I'm never afraid of it. Since I chose to be with him, no matter what it is, we will face it together. So what if he was the Demon King over there? Senior Martial Brother is still the former Devil King." "Ah, I knew you would say that." As expected of Old Man Devil's disciple, he's never afraid of trouble. "Come to think of it, you're much braver than I was when I was young." Old Man Devil said with a sigh. "Master, you went to find Aunt Feng. Did you find her? What took you so long? How did he know that something had happened to the Divine Devil Valley?" Sima Yue had too many questions in her heart. "Back then, I followed the information you gave me and went to find Jun Song. I pestered him to give you information about Aunt Feng. That guy gave me the wrong information at the beginning, but I managed to find her by accident. I didn't expect her to remember me. Seeing that I was injured, she threw me into a pool to recuperate. She didn't expect me to have some enlightenment in there. There were signs of advancement, so I went into closed-door cultivation. By the time I recovered from my injuries and came out of seclusion, she was no longer there. The people who were guarding outside told me that something had happened to the Divine Devil Valley, so I rushed back. No wonder I felt that Master's aura was different from before." Sima Yue said. "Then I'll go back first. If there's anything else, let me know." "All right." If there was anything she needed, she would definitely tell him. Who asked him to leave for so many years? After Old Man Devil left, she set up a spirit barrier and flashed into the spirit pagoda. Other than Di Wu Yi, there were only beasts in the spirit pagoda. The moment she went in, she saw the beasts pulling a long face. Seeing her go in, all of them hung their heads. We flipped through all the medical books, but we still can't find a way," Hua Hua said. Although Sima Yue was a little disappointed, but this result wasn't unexpected. "It's all right. Even if there isn't one here, there will be another place. I don't believe that the world is so big there won't be a way." She smiled at the beasts. "It's been hard on you all these days. I'll reward you all when we get back. You don't wait anymore. We haven't had a good fight for a long time. It'll be great if you can let us have a good fight." Little Seven said. "Little Seven, you're still talking. The last time you went alone to take care of the Cloud Cave people. You're still complaining that you haven't fought for a long time." Ye Guang said. "Ye Guang, do you want to exchange pointers with me?" Little Seven shook her fist at Ye Guang. Ye Guang shrunk his neck. He didn't have the guts to fight with Little Seven. Didn't the Divine Devil Valley people just come to the valley? Aren't you busy with the valley's matters? What are you doing here?" Thousand Resonance asked. "I was chatting with Master just now. I just remembered that I haven't used the thing that Auntie Feng gave me." Sima Yue said, "Auntie Ling, she mentioned it before, but I forgot about it. Now that I have time, I'm here to see what it is. Little Spirit, you've kept it right?" Little Spirit nodded. With a thought, a box appeared in his hand. For you. He threw the box to Sima Yue. Yu quickly open it and see what's inside. Feng Ruyan's identity was extraordinary. The gift she gave must be very rare. Sima Yue realized that there was a layer of restriction on the box which prevented people from opening it. But this restriction wasn't difficult. She opened the box with some effort. It's purple, what a dense aura. When the beasts saw what was inside they were all shocked. Even Sima Yue stopped breathing. There was a purple crystal lying in the box. Every corner of the crystal was shining with dazzling light. There was even a purple spirit liquid flowing in the middle of the crystal. Usually, most of the crystals that people saw were white. Very few of them were of other colors. But purple was even rarer. In her 2 lives she had never seen this kind of crystal. There was a note in the box. It asked her to refine the crystal into liquid and consume it directly. It also told her that her body would suffer a certain amount of pain. Yu, do you want to follow what it says? Little Seven asked. I think that at this time Auntie Feng won't harm me. Sima Yue said, for people at her level if she wants to kill or threaten someone she disdains to use any methods. That's true. Due to her trust in Feng Ruyan, she refined the crystal into liquid and drank it all. When the liquid entered her body she felt as if her entire body was being torn apart. The pain penetrated into her bones. Chapter 1391. She wanted to curse when she thought about how the paper said it would hurt a little and how she rolled on the ground. How was this a little pain? This pain was almost comparable to the pain when Qi Yan tempered her body. Unable to bear it any longer, she took out a towel and bit it to prevent herself from biting herself. She could feel that the purple Y bodies had turned into spiritual energy and began to wander around her body. Every time it flowed through a meridian, the already wide meridian would become much wider. It came to the tower pool and swam around. The spiritual energy inside became more solid. Then, it entered the blood vessels from the tendons into the bone marrow and finally into the bones and blood. The beasts looked at her, who was about to faint from the pain, and asked worriedly, "Will you be all right?" "I won't. Her aura is becoming steadier." Little Seven said. "I can feel it too. Although her cultivation hasn't increased, I can feel that her strength has gotten stronger." Thousand Resonance said. "His aura seems to have changed. What did she eat? How could it change a person's aura?" After a long while, Sima Yue's breathing finally stabilized. At this moment, she looked as if she had just been fished out of the water. Not a single part of her body was dry. She lay on the ground weakly, and the beasts surrounded her. "I feel that Yu's aura is similar to Aunt Feng's." Little Roar was very sensitive to auras. He sniffed Sima Yue's body and said, "Seems like it." Little Peng said, "Could it be that the purple crystal has something to do with Aunt Feng?" At this time Sima Yu subconsciously moved. The aura on her body was completely retracted. She looked no different from her usual self. "The aura is gone?" Little Roar carefully sniffed. The aura just now was indeed gone. Yu took it back, Little Dream guessed. "Yu is too tired. Let her rest. Everyone go outside. Don't look at her." As soon as Qi Yan spoke all the beasts left. Sima Yue tried her best to stay awake throughout the entire process. However, when the spiritual energy entered her bones and blood, she finally relaxed and fell into a deep sleep. When she woke up again, a day and night had already passed. "You're awake." Little Spirit's voice sounded beside her ear. She blinked her eyes, got up from the bed and said, "Was it you who put me on the bed?" She remembered that she had fallen asleep as soon as she relaxed. At that time she seemed to still be on the ground. And Little Spirit said, "Everyone was outside. I felt that you had woken up so I came in. How do you feel?" Sima Yue recalled the bone-piercing pain from before and moved her body, saying, "My body feels very comfortable, even better than after advancing. I feel like my strength has increased quite a bit." "Can you sense your aura?" Little Spirit reminded. Sima Yue sensed it and her eyes widened. She said in surprise, "Why is there another aura in my body? And it was so similar to Aunt Feng and the others. Could it be that the thing I ate has something to do with Aunt Feng and the others?" "You don't know?" Little Spirit thought that she had a good relationship with Feng Ruyan and knew something. "Why don't you ask your master? He just came back from there, maybe he knows something." Sima Yue thought about it and went to take a bath before going out. When she returned to her room, only a short while had passed. She removed the barrier and went to Old Man Devil's place. Old Man Devil didn't think that she would come looking for him after parting for a short while. He was a little surprised. "Master, this disciple has something to ask of you." Seeing Old Man Devil, she went straight to the point. Old Man Devil had never seen her like this before and said, "What's wrong? Why didn't you ask just now?" "I forgot just now." Sima Yue said, "Master, are you familiar with this aura?" She released the purple aura in her body and looked at him. Seeing his shocked expression, she knew that she would most likely get the answer. "Heavens, why do I feel the aura of the Feng people on your body? It seems to be thicker than the bodyguards who protected me." Old Man Devil shouted, "I heard them say that this is the aura of the Feng people and represents their status. The thicker the aura, the higher their status. Are you from the Feng people? But aren't you from the Sima family?" Sima Yue was shocked. "Master, are you sure?" "Of course. Your master, I am not a child. I won't lie." Old Man Devil said, "Why, did something happen?" Sima Yue was silent for a while and said, "On the day of the establishment of Heartbreak Valley, Aunt Feng sent someone to send a gift. A few days ago, when Aunt Ling she came over and saw that I had reached the monarch rank, she reminded me that I could use the things inside." "A gift from the Feng people? That must be very good," Old Man Devil said. Sima Yue nodded. "After that, I found a time and opened the box to take a look. There was a purple crystal inside and there was a note below, telling me to refine the crystal into a Y body and consume it. After that, I became like this." "To be able to leave the Feng people's aura in your body, this crystal must be extraordinary." "That's right, there aren't many purple crystals in the entire mainland. I think that even the Feng people don't have many either." Old Man Devil sighed. "Aunt Feng." Sima Yue could feel the changes in her body. Not only her aura, even her meridians and her spiritual power had been transformed. "Now that you have the Feng people's aura, if you encounter danger in the future, as long as you release your aura, you will be fine," Old Man Devil said. "So exaggerated?" Sima Yue was astonished. "That's because you don't know the status of the Feng people." Old Man Devil looked at his precious disciple, wondering if he should tell her about the Feng people. But thinking about it, she was still a distance away from that level. If she wanted to tell her, Feng Ruyen would naturally tell her. After thinking it through, he patted her shoulder and said, "I think that your Aunt Feng really likes you, that's why she gave you such a precious thing. It's like an invisible protection." "Feng people." Sima Yue muttered, "I will find a way to heal Aunt Feng's injuries as soon as possible. You've always been a good child." Old Man Devil was very gratified. She wasn't the kind of person who only enjoyed the kindness of others. If others treated her well, she would treat them even better. But she wouldn't be kind to others and she wouldn't be soft-hearted to those who hurt her. "Vice Valley Lord, the Valley Lord is asking you to go over." Someone shouted from outside the courtyard. "It should be Feng are asking me to go over to discuss the future. Then I won't disturb Master's rest. You should recover first. After we've finished discussing and everyone has recovered, we'll go and find White Cloud D for revenge. We'll definitely make them pay with their blood." Chapter 1392. Sima Yue came to Shimin Feng's courtyard, and the person who led the way directly took her to the living room. When she went in, she realized that Bai Sheng and the rest were also inside. "Feng, why did you call me here?" Sima Yue came to the seat beside Shimin Feng and sat down. Feng Ji and the others talked about the situation of the battle, but there wasn't much useful information. "I called you here to ask if you have discovered anything, or if the people from Divine Devil Valley have discovered anything," Shimin Feng said. "The only time we interacted with them was when we were fighting. Like them, I don't have much information," Sima Yue answered. "Then we still know nothing about them," Bai Sheng said. "It's not like we don't know anything. At least we know their general combat strength." Sima Yue said, "The people we choose to attack later can't be weaker than this level." "You're right. As long as we have absolute power, defeating them won't be a problem," Shimin Feng said. "However, before we attack, we still have to send people to check on them." "There's no need. We might not be able to find any useful information if we send someone," Sima Yue said. "Get someone to bring some scarlet bees over and let them investigate. It'll be easier." "All right. Boss, how long are they going to stay here?" Dai Yi asked with a frown, thinking that his courtyard was full of people and that woman was always asking him questions. "They should be heading back after they've repaired the Divine Devil Valley," Sima Yue said. Seeing Dai Yi's strange expression, he asked, "What's wrong? Is there a conflict?" "Actually, there wasn't any conflict, it's just that." Dai Yi suddenly paused as if he had thought of something that annoyed him. "But what?" Everyone rarely saw him like this. "Nothing." "Really? Really?" Everyone obviously had a look of, "Who would believe you?" and said to An who was beside him, And you speak. Boss, it's like this. Previously, when Dai was in the Divine Devil Valley, he saved a lady. In the end, that lady was mesmerized by him saving the damsel in distress. It was love at first sight, and now she's always pestering him. The smile on Yi's face was infuriating no matter how you looked at it. Someone has fallen in love with him, that's a good thing. You're not young anymore. It's time for you to start a family. Now that you've met a girl who likes you, you should give in to her. Sima Yue teased him seriously. Boss, don't listen to his nonsense. Dai said, it's that woman who keeps talking about saving her life. I'm so annoyed by her. Of course not. I just saw you and her together before the meeting. The two of you were talking and laughing. Alright, I think you're interested in her. Are you afraid that the longer you interact with her, the more you'll like her? And said with a grin. Sixth brother, I think you're itching for a beating. Do you want to spar with me? Dai glared at him. You don't have to be embarrassed. As the first one among us 10 brothers to have a crush, we will support you. Isn't that right, Kongren? Kongren nodded and said, I don't mind having a sister-in-law. It's hard to imagine how your family will look like in the future. Old Bai also joined in. You guys. Dai glared at them and said, we're discussing serious matters. Don't be funny. We're discussing serious matters too. Sima Yue said, we're together. Your marriage is also the valley's serious matter. Boss. Dai looked at Sima Yue. If she continued talking, he would look for the ground and hide in it. Sima Yue laughed and said, alright, I won't tease you anymore. But it's not possible for them to leave earlier. After all, the Divine Devil Valley hasn't recovered yet. Will take some time for it to recover. Moreover, the focus will be on dealing with White Cloud D recently. The reconstruction will be slower. The Divine Devil Valley has been destroyed to such an extent. Can it be rebuilt? And asked. That depends on Master and the others. Anyway, I'm just a junior Valley Master. Sima Yue shrugged. It's good that you're reliable during crucial moments. Shurchin said. If it wasn't for her, the junior Valley Master, the Divine Devil Valley wouldn't be able to escape this disaster. After that, Sima Yue called out a lot of scarlet bees and sent someone to bring them to White Cloud D's territory. In the following days, she spent most of her time in her own courtyard. She helped Sima Lu Xian recuperate while sorting out the news from the scarlet bees. Then she passed it to Shimin Feng and Liang Wu Ming. Old Man Devil would sometimes come over to check on Wu Lingyu's situation. When he saw the thick stack of news that she sorted out every day, he knew that it was all from the scarlet bees. He still remembered how shocked he was when he first found out that she had scarlet bees. He got a bottle of scarlet honey and she gave him some scarlet bees. He was so happy that he couldn't find North. Looking at it now, he was so easily satisfied back then. Sima Yue saw that Old Man Devil's eyes kept flashing. She didn't know what he was thinking about. She couldn't sort out the news under his stare, so she put down the pen in her hand and asked, Master, are you not going to see senior brother this time? Old Man Devil came back to his senses and said seriously, I'm not here to see him this time. I'm here to find you. You come here every day. What do you want to talk to me about today? Do you know the situation in the valley recently? Old Man Devil asked. Valley? Divine Devil Valley? I don't care about the things there. I don't know what you're talking about. Sima Yue said. It's not Divine Devil Valley. It's here. It's about Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley. Old Man Devil said. Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley? Sima Yue was a little surprised. I haven't been out recently and haven't asked about the news here. What's wrong? Both sides don't get along well? No, both sides get along well. Old Man Devil said. It wasn't just good, it was good beyond everyone's expectations. Since Divine Devil Valley was called Divine Devil Valley, it meant that they didn't have a clear view of right and wrong. Everything depended on their mood and was very casual. And the people in Heartbreak Valley, except for the Shimin family, were almost all from Bloodfiend City. People who used to live on the edge of a knife were much more forthright. When both sides got along, they found that they were very compatible. And because there was Sima Yue who they both admired, it could be said that they were getting more and more congenial. Sima Yue saw that he was hesitating and said, Master, if there's anything you want to say, just say it. Actually, this isn't what I want to say. They asked me to ask for your opinion. Old Man Devil declared. Sima Yue smiled and said, I know. Say it. That, they said, can Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley be combined? Old Man Devil finally said the purpose of this visit. Chapter 1397. Many people knew Ng Baichuan. Since he was the junior valley master of the Divine Devil Valley, even if the two forces merged, his position in the new force wouldn't be low. Now that he was here, those people were doomed. If he dared to hit a guest before the banquet, he might be expelled from the valley. Ng Baichuan looked at the people in the courtyard and said in a deep voice, "What kind of explanation do you want? This person actually dared to beat us up, at least break his legs. Then banish him from the valley." "That's right." Someone chimed in, "We are your guests. I was actually beaten up by your people in your territory. This won't sound good if word gets out." "Junior Valley Master, you have always been fair and just. I don't think you will disappoint everyone, right?" Zhang Yi Sect's senior brother said. When Ng Baichuan came in front of Shi Chen, everyone thought that he was going to question him and punish him. They were all waiting for Shi Chen's tragic end. However, Ng Baichuan bowed in front of him and said, "Baichuan greets Elder Shi." "Elder? Was he really an elder? Isn't it just in name?" Zhang Yi Sect's people shouted. "What title?" Ng Baichuan frowned. "Isn't that so? Will you let the elders with real power in the valley do the security work?" "Haha, then I'm really sorry to disappoint you." Shi Chen smiled faintly. "Don't you know that Heartbreak Valley used to have 10 elders? The 10 great elders of Heartbreak Valley? Aren't they the 10 great villains back then? Could he be one of them?" "That's right," the person behind Shi Chen said. "Elder Shi, what exactly is going on?" Ng Baichuan naturally wouldn't listen to the other party's words and turned to ask Shi Chen. "The invitation clearly states that you can only enter the valley on the day of the banquet, but these people insist on going in early. When I arrived, they were asking a disciple for an antidote." Shi Chen said, "They dared to hit my valley's disciples. I didn't kill them immediately because they were guests." The onlookers outside suddenly realized that these people were actually plucking the fur from the tiger. No wonder they were beaten up. Who in the mainland didn't know that Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were people who were protective of their own people? They actually dared to beat up their people. Just beating them up was already considered good. When Ng Baichuan and the people who came with him heard that their people were beaten, Wei said with a straight face, "What do you guys say?" The people from Zhang Yi sect thought that Shi Chen was an insignificant person and others might not believe what he said. So even if they caused trouble, as long as they insisted on being reasonable, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley would definitely apologize to them. But who would have thought that Shi Chen would actually be one of the 10 great elders? "They have to be prepared for our revenge," Sima Yue said. "Once we're done here, we'll join in the investigation of the mysterious force." If it was the previous Heartbreak Valley, she might not have been so bold. However, after fusing with two blind Paramount Valley, even the inner regions didn't dare to underestimate their strength. "Alright. You guys follow this mysterious force and investigate. We'll continue to investigate this force. When the time comes, we'll definitely find some information. We want to see what those people want to do." He Chen Dong thought about the commotion caused by those people during his succession ceremony. He was furious. "Alright, Yue, I heard that you're related to the mythical dragon sect. Is that true?" I've taught their sect leader's daughter. One of their divine envoys is my senior brother." Sima Yue nodded. She didn't know why they would suddenly mention the mythical dragon sect. She asked, "What happened to the mythical dragon sect?" "A year ago, the mythical dragon sect was destroyed," Xia Chang Tian said. "What?" Sima Yue was shocked. She suddenly thought of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword. If the mythical dragon sect was destroyed, then where was the Devil Sword now? Shi Qiu Shuang, Shi Qianji and Jiang Jun Xian. How were they? She did not care whether it was willing or not. As long as it was bound by the contract and suppressed by Blackie, it would not be able to resist. If it really didn't work, there was still the purple extreme heavenly lightning. "Since you've agreed, then hurry up and form the contract." Siyu said, "When those people come back and realize that it's gone, it'll be troublesome. Now that you're contracted, hurry up and leave this place." "Won't that bring trouble to your family?" Sima Yue said. "Although they might ask father for it, as long as we say that you're gone, they won't dare to do anything to us." Siyu said. "That's still troublesome. You've already helped me a lot. How can I leave after getting into trouble? Furthermore, I still need to find my father. Before I find him, I won't leave." Sima Yue thought for a while and asked the fellow in the pond, "Do you have a way to deceive them?" "I can leave a clone here. Those people won't find out. After a while it will slowly disappear. How long can it last? At least 2 years. Sima Yue calculated in her heart. 2 years should be enough for her to find her father. When she found her father, it would have been so long ago. Those people would not be able to find her. Then use your clone. Sima Yue said. I knew it. You're a woman who values friendship. Siyu smiled and said. You're good to me. How can I be ungrateful? Sima Yue said. Let's form a contract first. Siyu reminded. Sima Yue was troubled. This thing did not have a shape. How could she form a contract with it? Do you know how to form a contract? When she asked this, everyone present was stunned. This thing had never appeared before. They really did not know how to form a contract. I don't know. Hibo, do you know? Hibo shook his head as well. I can recognize you as my master. The fellow in the pond said, Put your hand into the water and I'll recognize you as my master. Put my hand into the pond? Little sister, that's too dangerous. Siyu frowned. Who would let a person put their hand into a spirit beast's body? If it played any tricks and killed Sima Yu when she wasn't on guard, it would be able to escape. I understand. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Sima Yu said. She carried Little Black to the side of the pond. She turned and said, You guys go outside first. Help me look after Musi. We'll be here. If anything happens we can help. Siyu said. If anything happens you guys won't be of any help even if you stay. Sima Yu said. Thinking about it, Siyu brought Musi and flew away from the plaza. Diwu and Hibo also left. However, they did not go far. They stopped in the air and observed the situation. Sima Yu squatted down. The water was only a few centimeters above the surface. She reached her hand into the water. She knew that this was not real water. It was just the liquid form of the black mist. Shi Shuang smiled at Shi Qianji, then looked at Sima Yue and continued, Not long ago, father sent people to find something. I think it's this thing that caused this disaster. Is it related to the sky splitter? Sima Yue guessed. Shi Shuang nodded. Do you know about the heart of glazed glass? Heart of glazed glass? What's that for? The heart of glazed glass can clear one's mind. If it's used during meditation it can help one understand. If it's held in one's hand during cultivation, it can prevent one from going berserk. If one has already gone berserk, it can clear one's mind. Shi Shuang said, It's this kind of treasure that made these people guess that the sky splitter is still with us. Sima Yue understood. Shi Shuang's father must have felt that it was getting harder and harder for him to control his mind. He was getting crazier and crazier, so he sent people to find the heart of glazed glass. However, he did not expect that because he exposed the existence of the sky splitter, it caused this disaster. Those people want the heart of glazed glass. That's why they sent so many people. She said with certainty. I think those people should know about this. Shi Shuang said, With the heart of glazed glass, it can help people resist the corrosion of the sky splitter on their consciousness. Who knows, they might be able to maintain their consciousness while having it. If that's the case, this thing is very important. No wonder they sent so many people. Sima Yue said. I'm sorry, Yue. It's not that I didn't tell you on purpose. Although my father is no longer around, I don't want them to get this. Shi Shuang said. Sima Yue's eyes narrowed slightly, saying, If that's the case, I won't let them snatch this thing away. Thank you. Shi Shuang said gratefully. Sima Yue turned her gaze to Mi-air, watching him control the space to attack. Boom, boom, Sima Yue felt the ripples from the space. The pressure was lessening, which meant that the sealed space was loosening. However, once Mi-air shifted his focus, those people got a breather and turned their target to Sima Yue. Today I won't let you escape. Sula shouted. Is that so? Do you have the ability to do that? Sima Yue's face darkened. You have that array book on you. Sulu said, If you hand it over obediently, I can let these people spare your life. Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat. How did this guy know about the array book? What did you say? Don't play dumb with me. Sulu said, Your array, I've only seen it in my sect, but it wasn't as exquisite as yours. Other than that book, no one else would know about it. Sima Yue squinted her eyes. You're from the 100 Changing Doors. Ah, that's right. So, you better hand over the book obediently. I never thought that the 100 Changing Doors would do something like exterminating a sect. Sima Yue said, If you want that book, then we'll have to see if you have the ability to do so. After saying that, her figure disappeared on the spot. When she reappeared, she was already beside Su Lu. Su Lu, on the other hand, attacked the spot where she appeared at the same time, causing her sneak attack to go up in smoke. He then teleported and appeared beside Sima Yue, grabbing her by the neck. Yue. You? How dare you? Junior sister. When the crowd saw that Sima Yue was captured, they cried out in shock. They wanted to go up and save her, but Su Lu glared at them. If you want her to die immediately, then come at me. Su Lu lifted Sima Yue up and faced the crowd. Everyone had no choice but to stop, not daring to go forward. Using teleportation in front of me, that's your biggest mistake. I'm the best at teleportation in the sect. Su Lu laughed coldly. If you want to live, then hand over the array book obediently. Sima Yue's face lit up with a smile. She wasn't as afraid as he expected. Capturing me is your biggest mistake in life. Seeing her smile, Su Lu felt a chill in his heart, but it was all too late. Chapter 14:10. Sima Yue smiled at him and grabbed his hand that was strangling her neck. Then, to his surprise and confusion, a fire snake condensed from her hand and quickly climbed up his hand. In just a breath's time, his entire body was wrapped up. Ah! Su Lu let out a blood-curdling scream and fell from the sky. If Sima Yue did not ask little birdie to control the temperature, he would not even have the chance to scream. Since he dared to threaten her, he would not die so easily. Bang! Su Lu fell to the ground and could no longer make any sound. At the same time, his life jade shattered. However, no one knew whether he had fallen to his death or had been burned to death by Xiao Berke. Deep in the mountains of the inner region, a man who was meditating suddenly woke up. He took out Su Li's life token from his interspatial ring. Seeing that the life token was already in pieces, he immediately cried out. Oh, who killed my brother? Who is it? No matter who you are, I will definitely kill you. Sima Yue did not know that she had another enemy. Even if she knew, she would not take it to heart. Her life was not something that could be taken away by any random person. When the others saw that Su Lu had been killed, they immediately cried out. Heavens! Master Su has been killed. This is bad. Will the 100 changing doors come after us? Why are you panicking? We invited Su Lu here and we paid him a reward. Even if the 100 changing doors is looking for trouble, they should be looking for her. What does that have to do with us? That's true. When Sima Yue heard their words, she knew that they were not from the 100 changing doors and heaved a sigh of relief. In her heart, she still hoped that the 100 changing doors wouldn't be the culprit. If this was done by Su Lu alone, then the 100 changing doors would not be implicated. However, the fact that he had killed Su Lu in public could not be concealed any longer. Boom. Mi-air attacked again and the spatial seal was completely broken. Grandpa! Sima Yue shouted. Sima Xiuqi nodded and began to open the spatial passage. We can't let them escape. Surround them. A group of people flew towards Sima Yue in an attempt to stop them. Someone attacked Sima Xiuqi, forcing him to close the spatial passage he had just built. If you want to stop us, you should deal with these guys first. Sima Yue yelled. Before those people could understand what was going on, the roars of spirit beasts could be heard from afar. Then, several hundred spirit beasts rushed over from afar. Heavens! Why are there so many spirit beasts? These spirit beasts have gone mad. Those spirit beasts rushed over and attacked everyone. However, when they met Sima Yue and the others, they all avoided them. It was as if they only had eyes for those people. Why aren't they attacking us? Someone from the Divine Dragon sect asked. We have an aura that they are afraid of. When they see us, they will naturally stay far away. Shi Qianji said. As for what that thing was, it was not important. Grandpa, let's go. Sima Yue said. All right. Sima Xiuqi opened the spatial passage again and brought everyone in. Those people were too busy dealing with the spirit beasts and did not have the energy to stop them. When Sima Yue went in, she turned back to take a look. Mind, wait for me to come back. Hall Master, those people have left. Should we chase after them? Chase your head. Didn't you see so many spirit beasts? Escape is more important. Retreat. But no matter where they escaped to, those spirit beasts chased after them relentlessly. In the end, only a few people managed to escape. Sima Yue and the others came out of the spatial passage and were already far away from the winter plains. Those people should not be chasing after us. Sima Xiuqi said. Thank you, Grandpa. Sima Yue said gratefully. Thanks this time. I owe you a favor. Yuanju snorted. Although he sounded unwilling, the gratitude in his voice was still good. Qiu Shuang, what do you plan to do next? Sima Yue asked. Although we're out of danger for now, it doesn't mean we're really safe. Shiqiu Shuang said, we have to find a place to hide for a while. Sima Yue understood that they would definitely have their own hiding places. She nodded and said, that's good too. Then we'll take our leave. Mao Sanquan said, Miao Shuang, you guys follow me back to the sect. In the sect, even if those people wanted to deal with them, they were too far away to do anything. But Han Miao Shuang looked at Jiang Junxian. He was not considered a member of the sect now. Naturally, he could not go back with them. If he wanted to go with Shiqiu Shuang and the others, then she had to follow too. Junxian, what do you plan to do? Shi Qianji asked. Jiang Junxian looked at Han Miao Shuang and said, go back with Instructor Mao. It's too tiring to follow me. No matter what, I will be with you. Han Miao Shuang grabbed his hand with a firm attitude. Senior brother, senior sister, why don't you guys go back with me? Sima Yue said. Heartbreak Valley had just merged with Divine Devil Valley. At this time, their strength was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Even if those people wanted to touch them, they would have to think twice. If they went to Heartbreak Valley, their safety would be guaranteed. Unexpectedly, Jiang Junxian shook his head and said, I'm a member of Divine Dragon Sect. Naturally, I have to be with them. I'll be with you. Wherever you go, I'll go. Han Miao Shuang said. Sima Yue looked at them and asked helplessly, Qiu Shuang, is the hiding place absolutely safe? Shiqiu Shuang was silent. Even the nest was attacked. How could the so-called hiding place be absolutely safe? Her silence made everyone understand what she meant. Sima Yue sighed and said, if you have nowhere to go, go to Heartbreak Valley. No. You saved us today. We're already very grateful. If those people can't get this thing, they won't give up. We can't implicate you. Shiqiu Shuang rejected without thinking. Anyway, those people know that this was done by my Heartbreak Valley. It's impossible to get away from it. Sima Yue said, but we also have a request. That is, you can't leak the information of my valley. Yue. Shiqiu Shuang looked at Sima Yue and bit her lip to stop her tears from falling. Alright, if you're grateful to me, you can also make some contributions to us. For example, you can give us your assassination techniques and let us train some powerful assassins. Sima Yue patted her shoulder. Alright. These are just worldly possessions. Shiqiu Shuang understood that she didn't really want her secret technique. She just wanted them to go to Heartbreak Valley to hide in peace. Then it's settled. Let's go back. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she took out a one-time use array and let everyone in after activating it. Then, she told them about the Sky Splitter Devil Sword's appearance, how it was related to the Divine Dragon Sect, how those people destroyed the Divine Dragon Sect for the sake of stealing the sword, and how they chased after them because of the Heart of Glazed Glass. I really didn't expect that these people would be involved in so many things. Old Man Devil sighed. Although the Sky Splitter Devil Sword had disappeared for so many years, the people in the continent never stopped searching for it. If they knew which powerhouse those who came to snatch it were, I'm afraid that powerhouse wouldn't end up any better than the Divine Dragon Sect. I think those people don't want people to know who they are, so they killed Qiu Shuang and the rest. Sima Yue said, now that they know that we interfered, I think they won't let us go. Then we have to come up with a countermeasure before they make a move. We have to tell them that they have the Sky Splitter Devil Sword. Bai Xing said, although it's a little harmful, but if you die, then I die. We are now being targeted by a mysterious powerhouse in the inner regions. If this happens again, I'm afraid we won't be able to handle it. Why don't we throw this out? Liang Wu Ming agreed with this. Let's do this. Sima Yue wasn't a saint. She didn't feel that she should keep the news of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword for the sake of the world. After all, if they didn't take any action, the fire would burn them. Chapter 1412. Book title. Chapter. Apprenticeship. First disciple author. Once the news of the appearance of the Sky Splitter was spread out, many people in the entire continent would definitely be involved. However, those who would be dragged into this were all greedy people. If he could recognize the danger of the Sky Splitter in this torrent and not pursue it, he would naturally be able to stay out of it. If we release the news of the Sky Splitter, those people should also spread the news of the Glazed Heart. Xiao Jingzhong said, if those people knew about the existence of the Heart of Glazed Glass, they would probably come looking for trouble with us. That's easy. Directly release the news of the Glazed Heart and say that it was stolen along with Sky Splitter. Sima Yue said. Will those people believe it? Even if those people don't believe it, some people will. In other words, they won't dare to attack us just because they don't believe the information. Sima Yue said, "We are not a force that can be bullied so easily." Yue is right. Old Man Devil said, "If the news of the Heart of Glazed Glass is released by the enemy first, then those people will think that it's here. But if we release the news first and they say that the Heart of Glazed Glass is with us, others may not believe it. In addition, our forces aren't weak. If you want to touch us, you naturally have to think twice. Moreover, if something really happens, the bird race will not sit idly by. Those people have to consider this point." Everyone is right. This matter is settled then. Elder Feng Kai, Elder Shi, I'll leave this matter to you guys. Yang Wu Ming said. Yes, Valley Lord. Next, let's discuss how to deal with the Cloud Cave. Old Xiao, tell Yue about the information and plan we got before. Alright. Cloud Cave has been very peaceful recently. That day she returned to her courtyard from the conference room very late. Before she reached the courtyard, she saw a figure standing at the entrance of the courtyard, looking at her eagerly. Sima Yue walked over and touched his head, saying, "Mu Si, why are you standing here? You've been gone for a long time. I'm very worried about you." Mu Si looked at her and his voice was a little hoarse. "You've been waiting for me here?" Sima Yue asked in surprise. "They said that you're back. I can't go to the meeting room, so I can only wait for you here." Mu Si lowered his head, looking a little lonely. "Come on, let's go in." Sima Yue held his hand and led him into her courtyard. "Mu Si, I'm very busy during this period of time. I don't have much time to accompany you. Are you used to staying here?" "Yes. The disciples in the valley knew that I was brought back by you. They didn't despise me for being a dark attribute spirit master and even treated me well." Mu Si said softly. "That's good," Sima Yue smiled. "Once I'm done with the Cloud Cave, I'll start teaching you cultivation." "I heard from the disciples in the valley that they are going to attack Cloud Cave soon." Mu Si asked. "Yes. The majority of the troops in the valley have already set off today. We'll set off the day after tomorrow." Sima Yue replied, "Be good and wait for me to come back." "Okay." Mu Si nodded. Sima Yue saw that he was silent and didn't have much reaction. She sat beside him and asked, "What are you thinking about?" "Yes." Mu Si raised his head and looked at her. He didn't know why she asked that. Every time you're in a daze, you're thinking about something. And it's something that you don't plan to say. Sima Yue said, "Tell me, what are you thinking about? Why are you hesitating?" Mu Si looked at her. He finally gathered his courage and said, "I want to stay here with you, is that okay?" "Yes." "Why do you suddenly want to stay in my courtyard? Did someone bully you?" Sima Yue asked. "No." Mu Si shook his head. "I just want to stay here." "It's not that you can't stay here, but you have to have a good reason." Sima Yue pondered. "How about this, are you willing to be my disciple?" "Be your disciple?" Mu Si widened his eyes and looked at her. He was shocked by this idea. "Why are you so surprised?" Sima Yue said, "Actually, I'm just saying it casually. If you're not willing, I'll still teach you how to cultivate." Mu Si clenched his fists. I'm willing." If this was the only way for him to be in contact with her openly, he could accept this kind of relationship. Sima Yue didn't think too much about it. The entire valley was filled with light attribute spirit masters. She was the only one with dark attribute. So she was the most suitable person to be his master. Moreover, she was the one who brought him out. His father passed away to save her father. She had the obligation to take care of him. If that's the case, I'll go and inform the Valley Lord and the others to prepare. Sima Yue said. Prepare for what? Prepare for a disciple ceremony. If it was outside, we wouldn't be so particular. But since we're in the valley, we still have to be particular. Sima Yue said, after all, my disciple's position in the valley is not low. All right then. Sima Yue passed down the order. When the disciples in the valley heard that she was going to accept a disciple, they immediately became excited and all of them ran over to watch. When Sima Yue brought Mu Si to the plaza, there were already many people gathered there. Vice Valley Lord, everything is ready. Sima Yue nodded towards that person and sat down on the chair in the middle. Mu Si came to Sima Yue and knelt down. Someone immediately brought over a cup of tea. He held up the cup and handed it to Sima Yue with both hands, saying, Master, please have some tea. Sima Yue held up the cup and took a sip, saying, Mu Si, from now on, you and I will be master and disciple. As the saying goes, a master for a day is a father for life. I can't replace your father, but I will definitely guide you wholeheartedly and accompany you as you grow. As she spoke, she took out the 10,000-year-old black sandalwood and some dark attribute spirit stones, saying, "This is Master's gift to you." The 10,000-year-old black sandalwood was given to her by Wei Ming Dai. Those spirit stones were found among the gifts. Wu Man, Meng Sha and the rest of the 4 district managers gave her a pile of treasures as gifts. Those dark attribute items could only be used by Mu Si. But she didn't plan to give them all to him at once. If he received too many treasures at once, it might not be a good thing. "Thank you, Master." Mu Si took the items and said. She used both hands to help him up. "Get up. I didn't expect that I would become a master by accident." Old Man Devil sighed at the side. Thinking back, when he first met Sima Yue, she was around the same age. Now, in the blink of an eye, she had also accepted his disciple. Gentleman's Alliance. Chapter 14-13. The onlookers were envious of Mu Si, their gazes were filled with envy and jealousy. Sima Yue was the goddess in their hearts. They wanted to interact more with their goddess even in their dreams. They didn't expect her to accept him as her disciple. According to the usual rules, everyone had to greet the newcomers, but he was the disciple of their goddess. How could they do anything to him? Just thinking about it made them sad. "Since you're Yoyue's disciple, then I'm your grandmaster. This is my gift for you." Old Man Devil took out a box and placed it in Mu Si's arms. "Thank you, grandmaster." Mu Si took the box and said respectfully, "I'm your grandmaster, this is my gift for you." Liang Wu Ming also took out a box. Sima Yu looked at them and beamed, saying, "Martial uncle, are these things that dark attribute spirit masters can use? Don't give Mu Si anything he can't use." "You brat, you want your disciple and not your master." Old Man Devil glared at her. "We're not newbies, we understand this." "Then master, if you have more, give it to my disciple, you can't use it anyway." Sima Yue smiled. "Do you think these are cabbages? It's very rare for us to find anything with the dark attribute here. Since you're the Vice Valley Lord's disciple, we old fellows have to give you something." Xiao Jingzhong said, "I happen to have some items that dark soul masters can use, I'll give them to Mu Si. I have 1 or 2 little things too." The others who had dark attribute items all expressed their intentions. In a short while, Mu Si received so many gifts that his hands went weak. Mu Si had never seen so many things and had never been so sincerely cared for by so many people. His heart felt warm. "Mu Si, let me tell you, there are benefits to being a junior." Sima Yue said, "Take me for example, I'm the youngest here. When I accept a disciple, the elders have to express their gratitude. This is good for us. In the future you have to use this advantage of yours, understand?" "I understand." When everyone heard this, they were all speechless. Her first lesson wasn't to teach him alchemy, nor was it to teach him cultivation, but to teach him this. That night, Mu Si moved to Sima Yue's courtyard. Only when he arrived did he find out that other than Sima Lu Xian, Wu Lingyu was also in her courtyard. Wu Lingyu. That night, Sima Yue went to the Spirit Pagoda and flipped through some books regarding the cultivation of Dark Soul Masters. She passed them to Mu Si and asked him to read them himself while waiting for her to return. Fortunately, there were many types of books in the Spirit Pagoda, including these. Otherwise, it would be troublesome for her to teach them bit by bit. One day later, Sima Yue left with the rest of Paramount Valley. Xiao Jingzhong and the rest headed towards Cloud Cave's base while Feng Ji and Ying Baichuan brought their men to Cloud Cave's forces outside. As for her, she went to another city with Liang Wuming and Old Man Devil. This was where the dark forces had settled down. This was a small remote town. It wasn't particularly far from the Cloud Cave, but it was rarely mentioned. That was because this place was too small. If Yue didn't find out that they were here, I wouldn't believe that they would stay in such a small place. Old Man Devil said. That's right. But it's such a small city that caused a lot of trouble in the central regions. There's a tough battle to fight today. Everyone be careful. Liang Wuming said. Yes, Valley Lord. We'll use the array to seal the space here. We can't let them escape. Martial Uncle, I'll go with you. Sima Yue stood out and said. All right. The two of them flew into the air and observed for a while. Then they got a group of array masters to stand at a designated position, and at the same time, they threw the array stones in their hands into the ground. The array was activated. Soon, the space within a few hundred kilometers of the small town was sealed. At the same time, a group of men in black noticed the commotion in the mayor's residence in the small town and quickly flew into the air. As soon as they came out, they saw the people from Paramount Valley flying in from outside the small town. Liang Wuming recognized the person in the lead. He was the man in black who took out the array breaking tool. When enemies met, their eyes turned red. They didn't say anything and attacked immediately. The black-clothed men also rushed forward, and the two sides immediately engaged in a fierce battle. This time, Liang Wuming brought people from Blood Fiend City. Their fighting power was many times higher than the Divine Devil Valley's outer disciples. Even if the other party was from the inner regions, they would still be beaten to a pulp. Most importantly, these people didn't play by the rules. During the fight they would use poison from time to time. The other party couldn't take it anymore. Retreat. Although they were unwilling, it was more important to keep their lives. The men in black tried to open a space tunnel to leave. Then they realized that they had sealed the space. You want to trap us with an array? The leader of the men in black realized that the space was sealed with an array. He was secretly delighted. He took out the array-breaking tool and inserted spirit energy into it. He threw it into the air and waited for it to break the array so that they could escape. But after the array-breaking tool flew one round in the air, it fell back down. The air was still the same. There wasn't any change. Do you think that we will use the same method after suffering once? Liang Wuming saw the surprise in the other party's eyes and snorted. This is obviously an array. How can it? The man in black shouted. This is waiting for you to die. Go to hell and ask others. Liang Wuming shouted. He drew out a fire dragon and attacked the man in black. Sima Yu's strength wasn't considered high here, so she didn't rush to the center of the battlefield. Instead, it was her group of beasts that were playing happily, especially Little Seven and the others. They didn't play to their heart's content at Jade Snow Mountain the last time. This time, seeing so many enemies, they started to compete to see who could kill more. But this time, it wasn't just a three-person competition. All the spirit beasts were participating. What Sima Yue didn't know was that the beasts weren't just competing. They had also agreed that their ranking would be decided by the rankings. The leader was Qi Yan. No one dared to refute this. Then, the first place of the competition would be the second place would be the third, and so on. That was why they were working so hard to kill the men in black. The people in the small city felt that the end of the world had come. The rumbling sounds of the battle didn't stop. Various colors of spirit techniques flashed in the sky above the city. If it wasn't for the protection array, the entire city would have been destroyed. The battle lasted for almost a day. When the first ray of sun broke through the clouds on the second day, the day had finally passed. Chapter 14:14. Soon, two pieces of news spread like wildfire across the continent. Moreover, both pieces of news were related to Paramount Valley. One was when Paramount Valley destroyed Cloud Cave and took over all their assets. They also dealt a heavy blow to the mysterious faction that had been around for the past few decades. However, after everyone heard about it, they only talked about how powerful Paramount Valley was, and that was the end of it. There was another piece of news that attracted the attention of the entire continent. The primordial divine artifact, Heaven Splitter Devil Sword, has appeared. If the first piece of news could catch people's attention, then the second piece of news would make people go crazy. An ancient divine artifact. There were only a few of them in the world, especially the Sky Splitter Devil Sword. It was said that with it, one could do whatever they wanted in the entire continent. With the Sky Splitter in hand, the world is mine. As a result, the second piece of news quickly overshadowed the first piece of news. Everyone was trying to find out what was going on. Later on, everyone found out that the Divine Dragon sect had already obtained the Sky Splitter. Moreover, many forces in the inner regions had already known about this news. Even the inner regions had already set off a huge wave because of this. It was just that the people outside did not know about it. And the reason this news spread out now was because the people of the Glacial Cloud Palace went to destroy the mystical dragon sect and snatch the Sky Splitter. They also wanted to kill Shiqiu Shuang and the others to silence them so that outsiders wouldn't know that the Sky Splitter was in their hands. However, Shiqiu Shuang and the others were lucky. They were saved by Sima Yue. As Sima Yue was their friend, she brought them to the valley and hid them there. The news of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword also spread. In addition to snatching the Sky Splitter, the Glacial Cloud Palace also snatched the Glazed Heart that they had just obtained. Whoever obtained these two items would be able to dominate the world. Therefore, the entire continent was in an uproar. Whether they had the ability or not, they all wanted to participate. However, some people were guessing if Paramount Valley had obtained the Sky Splitter Devil Sword and purposely released such news. Later on, someone went to investigate and found that it was indeed the people of Glacial Cloud Palace who exterminated the mystical dragon sect and obtained the Sky Splitter. Even the Battle of Wuxia Mountain had been dug up. Thus, everyone believed that the Sky Splitter was in the Glacial Cloud Palace and that the Glacial Cloud Palace had obtained the Heart of Glazed Glass. Previously, in order to suppress the news, Glacial Cloud Palace didn't speak out immediately, so they lost the initiative. It was said that there were people visiting Glacial Cloud Palace from time to time. As for the result, it was not within the scope of Sima Yue and the others' concern. At this time Sima Lu Xian and Sima Lai were in their own courtyard, looking at their beasts speechlessly. Crimson Flame is the eldest brother, no one has any objections to this. Let's talk about the results of the battle. Mi-Er is the most annoying person, he killed a few hundred people at most. 7 stared at Mi-Er unhappily. Then I'm second brother. You guys have to call me second brother in the future. Mi-Er said with a grin, not caring about everyone's stares. You have a face similar to Yu's, but you make such an infuriating expression. I really want to beat him up. Little Roar waved his little claws. Unfortunately they couldn't beat him, so they could only think about it. Then I have the most. You guys have to call me third sister in the future. 7 said proudly. After that it's Little Meng, then Little Gold, and then... Everyone looked at her group of beasts and found it funny that they could even talk about this for such a long time. These beasts of yours, I heard that half of the people were killed by them. Sima Lai asked. Isn't that so? Sima Yue was speechless when she thought of the scene at that time. At that time, when these guys were competing, after their opponents were killed, they would run over to snatch from the people next to them. Soon, the disciples in the valley realized that they had no opponents and could only watch her beasts. Now that she thought of the way those people looked at her, Sima Yue had the urge to confine her beasts. Vice Valley Lord, someone outside the valley is looking for you. He said he's an old friend. A disciple said at the courtyard entrance. My old friend? Sima Yue was a little surprised. Who would look for her at this time? Could it be Chinemo? Yes, he said he knew you from the academy. He's called Big Wei and Little Wei. Big Wei and Little Wei? Sima Yue was stunned. Why would they look for her at this time? Invite them in. Yes. After a while, the guards brought Big Wei and Little Wei to her courtyard. Sima Yue came to the courtyard entrance to welcome them. She bowed to them and smiled. Uncle Big Wei, Uncle Little Wei, welcome, welcome. We've known each other for a while, but you didn't call us over on such an important day to rebuild your forces. Have you forgotten about us? Little Wei began to scold her the moment he saw her. How could we? It's just that the 100 changing doors is so mysterious that we don't even know how to find you. Sima Yue said with a smile. Alright, so it's our fault for not giving you a way to contact you. Little Uncle Little Wei, you didn't come here just to scold me, right? Sima Yue changed the topic and asked. You little brat. Uncle Big Wei, Uncle Little Wei, please. Sima Yue brought them to the living room. Mu Si quickly brought the tea over. This is the disciple you took in? Big Wei looked at Mu Si. He was just a child in his teens. He didn't know why she took in such a person as a disciple. Yes. How did you know about this? Sima Yue was a little surprised. Your matter has long been spread. Anyone who cares about you will know about it. Big Wei said, besides, isn't this what you want? Sima Yue was exposed by them, but she didn't feel embarrassed. She had already let people spread the news of her taking in a disciple. Letting others know that Mu Si was her disciple was also a layer of protection. I don't know why Uncle Big Wei and Uncle Little Wei are here today. Actually, it's nothing much. But because of Su Li's matter, the valley asked us to explain to you. Big Wei said. Sulu? Sima Yue blinked. Who is he? Sulu is the disciple of my sect that you killed at Jade Snow Mountain. Little Wei said. Oh, it's him. Sima Yue remembered that person. He did say that he was from the 100 changing doors. She glanced at the two of them secretly, guessing in her heart what they were here for. Explain? Explain what? According to past experience, shouldn't they be pointing at her nose and shouting that she killed my sect's disciple? Now you have to pay with your life? Reading background default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, dark blue, ocean, autumn green, classic simple, elegant, red powder, aristocratic, family, red talk, thick sea, vast sky, broken heart, past snow, white world, gray world, font color default settings: white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings: small, medium, large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0, mouse scroll description 1 to 10, 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 14-15. The sect heard about the Jade Snow Mountain, and also knew that you killed Su Lu. Big Wei said, the sect said that we owe you a debt of gratitude, so we have to explain this matter clearly to you. We didn't know that Su Lu was involved in this. I've already guessed that. Sima Yue replied, I think with the 100 changing doors low-profile style, they shouldn't be involved in this matter. Big Wei and Little Wei heaved a sigh of relief when they heard that. It's good that you understand. This way 100 Changing Doors and Paramount Valley won't be on bad terms. Actually, even if you know about Sulu, as long as you don't do anything to us, we won't look for you. I was worried that you would find trouble with me. Sima Yue laughed. That won't happen. The sect had never allowed disciples to participate in such matters. So even if something happens, the sect won't care. Little Wei explained, but you have to be careful of Su Li's brother. His elder brother? He has an elder brother called Su Chang, who is a very powerful seeker spirit master. Su Chang loves Su Li very much. If he knows that you killed Su Lu, I'm afraid he will come to you for revenge. Which sect is his brother in? Sima Yue asked. Su Chang is the honorary elder of Glacial Cloud Palace. He was in seclusion some time ago. However, I think that the matter of Su Li's death should have caused him to come out. Big Wei said. Although he is an honorary elder, his position in the Glacial Cloud Palace is very high. Even the Vice Palace Master has to be courteous to him. Therefore he was able to mobilize many disciples. In addition, he can also find outside help because he has made many friends before. Many people owe him favors and there is no lack of experts among them. Sima Yue rubbed her chin and said, It seems that I have to be careful of this guy. Paramount Valley is so powerful now, he definitely wouldn't dare to look for you. What you need to pay attention to is bringing more people with you when you go out. Little Wei said. I understand. Thank you for telling me these things. Sima Yue smiled and said, Since Uncle Big Wei and Uncle Little Wei are here, please stay here for 2 days. I'll show you around Heartbreak Valley. The scenery here can't be seen from the outside. Ha, sure, we are also very curious about your place. Sima Yue brought the two of them out, leaving the group of people and beasts next door. Does that mean that someone wants to kill Yu? Little Seven slammed her palm on the table, her face filled with anger. If you want to kill Yu, why don't you ask us first? Mi Er's eyes revealed a ruthless gaze, but on that face that was extremely similar to Yue, there was actually no sense of disharmony. Why are you angry? If you want to kill Yu, let's kill them first. Crimson Flame said faintly. Yes. Ah. Boss is still the best. Humph, if those people dare to come, we'll let them know why the flowers are so red. Sima Lu Xian and the others looked at the beasts and said with a smile, What a group of arrogant and protective guys. Isn't that so? However, this temperament is quite similar to Yu's. Sima Lai smiled as well, but that smile was filled with pride. That's good. Sima Xiuqi said, just like what the beast said, if they really dare to touch my good granddaughter, humph. Father, you've been back for so long, can you not go back? Sima Lu Xian suddenly changed the topic, making everyone unable to keep up with the rhythm for a while. What's the hurry, your injury hasn't healed yet, we'll stay here. Sima Xiuqi said. Won't the patriarch say anything? What did he say? In order to find you these years, your father has resigned from all the affairs in the clan. It's the same whether we go back or not. Huang Yingying said indifferently. What? Sima Lu Xian looked at his father in shock. Father? I didn't want to care about those things. Sima Xiuqi said, this way I'll be free. But. Sima Lu Xian hesitated, he couldn't find the words to describe his mood for a while. Don't think too much about it. Huang Yingying patted his shoulder. What you have to do now is to heal your injury, then our years of searching will not be in vain. Father, mother, I'm unfilial? Sima Lu Xian lowered his head, his heart was full of guilt towards his two elders. Although he didn't regret his actions, he felt guilty for the harm he had brought to his parents and brothers. Those things, let bygones be bygones. Sima Xiuqi sighed, don't worry, we will find a way to restore your spirit power. Father, mother, don't worry about me, I'm ashamed. What's there to be ashamed of? You're our child, no matter what, this can't be changed. Huang Yingying patted his shoulder. But this way, I won't have any power in the clan, those hamsters in the clan will be more arrogant. Sima Xiuqi said bitterly, you haven't recovered your strength now, it's more dangerous to return to the clan. Grandfather definitely doesn't care about those people. When we go back, we'll just destroy them all. Sima Yue came in from outside and said with a smile. Yue, why are you back? Didn't you go out with them? Sima Yue came to Huang Yingying's side and sat down saying, I handed them over to Director Mao. Director Mao has been here for so long, so he's familiar with it. And he has a good relationship with the two uncles, so he's easy to talk to. Yue, since you mentioned this, then let me ask, do you plan to go back to the clan? Sima Lu Yin asked. I've said it when great-grandfather was here, I'll see what father wants. If father wants to go back, then he'll go back. If father doesn't go back, then I won't go back. I'll definitely go back with father. Sima Yue looked at Sima Lu Xian. Sima Lu Xian lowered his head, his silver hair drooped down, he pinched the hand on his leg and said, "Can I still go back now?" He had brought so much trouble to the clan in the past, and the clan had spent so much effort to find him over the years. Moreover, he was now a cripple. Go back. You definitely have to go back. Yue, you have the blood of the Sima family flowing in your body, so naturally you have to go back to the Sima family. As for those hamsters, you're right, we'll just destroy them when we go back. Sima Xiuqi said, and the clan has a lot of ancient books on medicine, maybe we can find a way to cure your father. Sima Yue's eyes lit up and asked, really? There are a lot of ancient books. Huang Yingying said, but I haven't read them before, so I don't know the specifics. If it's true, then after we're done here we'll go back to the Sima family to take a look at those monsters. Chapter 14-16. Sima Yue was referring to the annihilation of Yayang Palace and Zhongzheng clan. Although these two families had a falling out before, they reconciled with the help of the mysterious force. If they wanted to deal with him now, they would have to work together. In addition, it was said that the Sage Pavilion was behind the Huayang Palace. It was unknown if the Sage Pavilion would come to intervene when the time came. During this period of time, the outside world was in an uproar because of the appearance of the Heaven Splitter. However, Paramount Valley was very quiet. Other than crushing Yasen Palace financially, they did not do anything else. As for Shiqiu Shuang and the rest, because of Paramount Valley's protection, they were able to avoid being sucked into the center of the whirlpool and had nothing to do. During the time they stayed in Heartbreak Valley, Sima Yue would let people tell them about the news outside so that they would not be isolated from the world. 2 months later, a piece of news stunned Sima Yue for a while before she went to Shiqiu Shuang's courtyard. Shi Qianji and Yuanju were talking about something in the courtyard. When they saw her enter, they waved at her. Where's Qiu Shuang? Sima Yue asked. In the house. What's the matter? Are you looking for her? Yes, I have something to do, Sima Yue replied. Creak, Shiqiu Shuang's door opened. She heard Yue's words and came out of her room. What brings you here today? What's the matter? Shiqiu Shuang walked over and asked. I'm here to deliver a message, Sima Yue said. Deliver a message? Didn't the disciples of the valley send them over in the past? Could it be? Shiqiu Shuang seemed to have guessed something as she looked at Sima Yue with a complicated gaze. Yes. Sima Yue took out a piece of paper and handed it to her, saying, I just received news that Glacial Cloud Palace has been destroyed. What? Everyone in the courtyard cried out. They couldn't believe what they had just heard. Shiqiu Shuang's feelings were even more complicated. She opened the paper that Sima Yue had given her. On it was written that Huayang Palace had been destroyed by a few forces yesterday. It's really destroyed. Shiqiu Shuang's body shook, and the paper in her hand flew to the ground. The Glacial Cloud Palace was destroyed in less than 2 months after the news was released. This was enough to show how crazy the world was about the Heaven Splitter. With the destruction of the Glacial Cloud Palace, the hatred of the destruction of the mythical dragon religion was also dispersed. Because the hatred in her heart no longer had a foothold. She hadn't even gotten her revenge, but her enemy was gone. Sima Yue reached out to support Shiqiu Shuang but did not say anything to comfort her. She had expected Shiqiu Shuang to react this way when she heard the news, so she came to tell her personally. Shi Qianji and Yuanju's hearts were also in turmoil. Originally they had a monstrous hatred, but now it was gone just like that. Once the Sky Splitter appears, there will definitely be a reign of terror. But I didn't expect it to be so soon, Sima Yue said. There are so many greedy people in the world. How many people can resist this temptation? Shiqiu Shuang wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and smiled at Sima Yue, saying, Thank you for specially coming to tell us this. No matter what happened in the past, the future will always continue. Sima Yue advised. This kind of thing had to be understood by oneself. No matter how much others said, it was just empty words. I understand. Shiqiu Shuang said, Actually, I more or less guessed the fate of the Glacial Cloud Palace. With the Sky Splitter in hand, they definitely won't be able to escape. But I didn't expect this day to come so soon. Before, I was full of ambition to take revenge for my father and my sect brothers. Suddenly, I don't even have a target. I can't take back my heart. Her words were filled with bitterness, just like her heart at this moment. Now that the enemy is gone, the world's attention has shifted to the Sky Splitter. You can say that you are safe now. You can think about your future plans. Sima Yue said. What other plans can we have? Shiqiu Shuang smiled bitterly. Yue, why don't you let us join you? Since you are able to merge two forces, can you accept us? Sima Yue blinked. She remembered that Bai Sheng and the others had mentioned about letting Yuan Ju and the others join. Qiu Shuang, if you want to join, Paramount Valley will definitely be willing to accept you. But this is not a small matter. Don't make a rash decision. Wait until you calm down, then we will talk about this. How about it? All right. You said that if we want to join you will agree. Shiqiu Shuang said. Of course you are all so powerful. If you can join, our strength will increase again. Sima Yue smiled. You are such a big force. What are we compared to you? I know that you are willing to accept us because of our past friendship. Yue, thank you. Shiqiu Shuang said gratefully. Don't underestimate your strength. Sima Yue said, the secret technique that you gave has already been distributed to everyone to practice. I see that those who have high comprehension have already achieved some success. When they use it, they can already hide their aura very well. Their strength has increased a lot. After some time, they will definitely be able to improve as a whole. It's good that it's useful. Alright, I still have some things to do. I will go back first. This matter. You guys should take it easy. Sima Yue patted Shiqiu Shuang's hand. Okay. Then I will go back. Sima Yue turned and left. She saw Jiang Junxian on the second floor. He leaned on the railing, his gaze deep. She still remembered the first time she saw him. At that time, she had just arrived at Parting Garden. In the middle of the night, he was very angry because of Su Xiaoxiao. He looked at them in a daze, but the things he threw at Su Xiaoxiao were very accurate. At that time, when she saw his flirtatious face and half-awake gaze, she thought that this person was very evil. After that, when he was with the others, he always looked like he was not awake. He was always in a daze. Not long ago when they met again, he rarely had that dazed gaze. Not to mention such a deep gaze. She stopped and looked at Jiang Junxian saying, Senior, do you have time? I have something to talk to you about. Shiqiu Shuang and the others looked over. Jiang Junxian looked at Sima Yue. After a moment of silence, he turned and went downstairs. We don't blame him for this matter, but you should persuade him. Shi Qianji said. Sima Yue nodded. When she saw Jiang Junxian coming down, she said, let's go outside for a walk. Okay. The two of them left the courtyard. Han Miao Shuang appeared on the second floor. She looked at their backs and did not speak for a long time. Sima Yue gave him a pill. Jiang Junxian looked at her and did not ask what it was. He took it and ate it. Aren't you afraid that I will poison it? Sima Yue asked. Will you? Jiang Junxian asked back. His tone was firm. Sima Yue smiled, saying, I will take you to a place. Chapter 14-17. Sima Yue led Jiang Junxian forward. Soon, they left the central region and entered the heart of Heartbreak Valley. This is the inner region? Jiang Junxian asked. Yes. Why did you bring me here? Jiang Junxian asked. I'll bring you around to relax. Sima Yue said. Jiang Junxian was speechless. Who would go to the inner area of Heartbreak Valley just to relax? She was probably the only one who could do something like that. You just said that you have something to deal with. Jiang Junxian reminded her. Some things are important and some are not. Let's go. I'll show you the scenery of the inner region today. Most people don't have this opportunity. Sima Yue said. If other people came, they could only wander around the outer and middle regions. Paramount Valley would not provide them with the antidote for the inner regions. Jiang Junxian was silent and followed her inside. She had made it very clear that he was more important to her than anything else. I don't think we've ever walked like this before, Sima Yue said as they walked. I think so. Speaking of which, I do miss the old days. Sima Yue narrowed her eyes. At that time in the Parting Garden with Master and all of you, the days were so peaceful. You love to sleep all day, but senior sister eats all day. She always pesters me to make delicious food for her. But third senior brother always complains that you make a mess in the courtyard. Jiang Junxian gazed at the snowy mountains in the distance. His eyes were filled with deep nostalgia as he murmured, I do miss it. Before his identity was exposed, those days could be said to be the warmest, calmest, and most memorable of his many years. However, at that time, although senior brother was often sleepy, he would still smile at me and everyone else. But I haven't seen him smile for a long time. Sima Yue said. Is there? Jiang Junxian was stunned and said, I didn't notice. Senior brother, you are blaming yourself for this. Sima Yue brought him to the foot of the snow mountain and continued to climb. Jiang Junxian was silent. Was he blaming himself? Perhaps it was just a little. I realize that you don't even dare to look at Qiu Shuang and the others. I think if Qiu Shuang were to stab you with a sword, you wouldn't dodge. Jiang Junxian remained silent. Sima Yue looked at him and sighed. Speaking of which, the real culprit is me. This has nothing to do with you, Jiang Junxian said. If it wasn't for me, you would have sent the news of Little Seven back then, right? Then he would think of a way to capture Little Seven. In fact, the news of the Eye of the Earth will spread throughout the entire continent like the Heaven Splitter. Sima Yue said, but you didn't. When you had to choose between Little Seven and Sky Splitter, you chose Sky Splitter, allowing Little Seven and I to live peacefully for so many years. You think too much. Jiang Junxian did not look at her and directly denied. Really? Sima Yue smiled faintly. Whether you admit it or not, I have something to do with this. Why do you have to take the blame for this? Jiang Junxian asked in confusion. Because we are all responsible for this. It's not fair for you to take the blame alone. Sima Yue said. I don't want to see you so depressed. This is not my big senior brother. The two walked up the mountain, leaving their deep and shallow footprints on the snow. Some things have been done, so we have to accept the result. Jiang Junxian said in a low voice. Whether Qiu Shuang blames me or not, it's because I brought back Sky Splitter that led to this result. This can't be changed, I can only accept it. No, although this was caused by you, it's not because of you. Sima Yue said. The real reason is human greed. Greed? Yes. Sima Yue reached out and caught the snowflakes falling from the sky. If it wasn't because of greed, we should have thrown the Sky Splitter away when we got it, instead of holding onto it no matter how dangerous it was. If it wasn't because of greed, there wouldn't be so many people rushing for it and blood flowing like a river. Although you are the cause, you are not the main cause. Actually, I understand what you're saying. It's just that he couldn't get over this hurdle. Do you know? The top of this mountain is the highest place in Heartbreak Valley. Standing on the mountain, you can see the endless scenery. Sometimes we shouldn't be stuck at the foot of the mountain and trap ourselves. Instead, we should stand on the top of the mountain, look into the distance and think about the road ahead. Sima Yue said, grabbed his hand and flew him to the top of the mountain. The two stood on the top of the mountain and looked at the scenery below. The magnificent rivers and mountains made one's heart surge. Woman, you brought an outsider to my territory. A cold voice sounded all around. Then the snow swirled and fell. Jiao Yin's cold figure appeared in front of the two. Sima Yue ignored the anger on his face and greeted with a smile. Jiao Yin, long time no see. Woman, in our agreement, there wasn't a clause that allowed you to bring others to my territory. Jiao Yin said coldly. This is my senior brother. He's like a family member. He can't be considered as an outsider. Sima Yue shrugged. Twisting words and forcing logic. Jiao Yin snorted. The snow on the top of the mountain fell even faster. How are your people now? Sima Yue asked. The pressure on Jiao Yin's body relaxed. The temperature didn't continue to drop, and the snow lessened a lot. With the pills you provided, their success rate of evolution increased a lot. Most of them have evolved over the years. That's good. Sima Yue nodded with satisfaction. Even so, you shouldn't have brought people in. Jiao Yin's face was sour. He was unhappy that others knew that the 9-turned snow silkworm was here. Aya, looks like you're very angry. How about this, you guys fight? Sima Yue finished speaking and grabbed Jiang Junxian's shoulder. She threw him towards Jiao Yin. Little junior sister. Jiang Junxian's voice fluctuated for the first time. But before he could finish his words, his attention was diverted. Because Jiao Yin really attacked. Sima Yue saw the two fighting together. She wasn't worried at all. Instead, she found a place far away and admired the two fighting. Jiang Junxian was a fire attribute spirit beast. Jiao Yin was an ice attribute spirit beast. When the two fought together, it was like a song of ice and fire. The battle between the two could be said to be a hearty one. When the battle was over, the relationship between the two was immediately pulled closer. Sima Yue took out 3 jugs of wine. She threw 1 jug to each of them and drank a mouthful. Big senior brother, do you feel better? Thank you, little junior sister. If you really want to thank me, then give me Master's Life Jade. Sima Yue said. She stretched out her hand in front of him with a serious face. Jiang Junxian narrowed his eyes. What are you doing? That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference. as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.